Here is your DC update for the week. I've got 3 stories I want to talk about. I'm going to leave the big one for last. The first story I want to talk about is Aquaman 2, which is currently filming. We've got Jason Momoa did announce on social media that he will be this week filming Aquaman 2. So he's going on the set. I believe it's in Australia. And he is going to have blonde hair in the movie. So his appearance is going to change, and he's going to be more in line with the comic book, which is interesting how they're making that more in line with the comic book, because I've got something I'm going to talk about here in a few minutes that goes completely against the comic books. So the next story I want to talk about is this motion comic that was going to be released by the group of people that do the Lightcast podcast. If anybody follows DC or podcasts or they're on social media, you may have heard of the Lightcast. They've been talking a lot about Zack Snyder over the last couple of years and giving a lot of information to the audience. And they were doing a motion comic for Justice League 2 and 3 that was going to be released to the public. And there was a whole, just let's say the crap hit the fan. And come to find out, a couple of the individuals involved with the art in that had plagiarized art from people like Jim Lee and a few others. And so the Lightcast is officially shut down, gone. The people involved with that whole thing have shut down. They've closed shop, and everybody's being very quiet about it, and they're done. So that's interesting. And a lot of people were looking forward to that. I wasn't one of those looking forward to it. I'd rather get the movies or get maybe a comic series if they're never going to do the movies. I'm hoping the films get made. I mean, if Warner Brothers isn't paying attention and Discovery isn't paying attention, I'm about ready to hang up the towel on this whole thing because of how popular this is and the studio just not paying attention, which does lead us to the last story and the big story of the day, which is Batgirl casting. All right, we've all been waiting to see what they were going to do with Batgirl. And there were rumors that maybe we were going to get J.K. Simmons back, that this was going to be tied to the DCEU. And it is definitely not tied to the current run of films. And maybe they're going to tie this to the Batman movie. I don't know. But I don't know what Warner Brothers is doing. But this does not make any sense to me at all. The girl that they hired to play Batgirl, and this was confirmed today, her name is Leslie Grace. She was just in the Heights movie that was released. And she is cast as Batgirl. She is not a white person, okay? And I'm not going to get into the race issue here other than the fact that Warner Brothers is like hell-bent on completely changing these characters. They're race swapping. And this doesn't make any sense to me. First, they talk about doing this with Superman with Kal-El. They did it with Batgirl on TV, and now they're doing it with Batgirl. And here's my issue with Batgirl. You're going to have these people come out and say these are fictional characters. They're not real. You can have them be any gender, any color you want. I would disagree in a case like this. There are certain aspects about a character that you don't change, you don't mess with. One of those is the fact that she is a white woman with very red hair, okay? You can't get around that. This is, Warner Brothers just doesn't have a clue as to how to go about this whole race thing properly. And they need to kind of figure it out because they're looking pretty stupid at this stage. And this doesn't make any sense. I don't know what she looks like. She's half white. Maybe she's part Cuban. Maybe she's part African-American. I don't know. I don't know her ethnicity, but she's definitely not in the image of what Batgirl has always been in the comics. And her first major outing in a film, and they race swap that it just, I don't know. I'm not convinced that they know what's going on. Well, they don't know what's going on. Let's put it that way at this stage. I haven't seen any major changes since Discovery took over. So I don't know who's calling the shots, but this still seems to be under the old regime. And who knows? It may end up being a great movie. I don't know. But this definitely doesn't fit in with anything that's come before or anything that's been released yet. And this is going to be interesting to see where they go with this. It's going to be interesting to see who they cast as James Gordon, because none of this fits unless this is an Elseworld story, something different outside of the norm. So we will find out coming up shortly, because this movie is scheduled to be released, I think, sometime in 2022. So they're going to be moving on the casting. They're going to be moving on the filming here pretty dang quick. All right, that's all I have for you guys this week. Stick to my channel. I'll be continuing to do DC updates every week. We'll see what's going on here in the future, but those were the 3 stories for this week. Please hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You will be notified as I have new videos go up.